coming to you from Baker's Green Acres. A lot of the stuff that we are talking about here took quite a few years for me to do it and then say, oh, that worked, or oh, that didn't work. And then as the years have gone by, everything sort of fit together, and now when I have something new come along, some different species that I'm going to plant, and I see how it performs, I'm able to say, okay, well, that would fit in good in the summertime, or that would fit in good in the fall time. And a lot of this is quite intricate, but if you were new and you didn't know where to start, and you had a section of pasture that you had fenced off for your pigs, I would say divide that again so you have two sides, A side and B side, and allow your pigs to be on one side or the other until they've cleared it off. You might be starting out there with just grass, you might be starting out there with weeds, or you might be starting out there with nothing. Allow them to clear it off. Clear it off. Take everything off of it. And then go with rye. I've heard a lot of favorable things about rye all over the country. It's my go-to. I put rye in with everything because it just does a couple of things for you. It grows well on just about anything. It really helps with water retention in the soil. Puts down a fairly deep root that'll loosen things up. And this is a process. This is not a one-time thing. This could be a lifelong thing. It loosens up the soil and allows nutrient to get down deeper into the soil. Where the roots are kind of deep, when the pigs start digging, they're going to want to get down into that soil. So what's happening when they do that is the soil that is down a little deeper, the pigs are disturbing that, and they're bringing some of that up to the top. They're bringing some of the soil that's on the top that's probably heavily, it's full of microbiological organisms. They're going to bring some of that down. And so you're going to have a richer, darker soil getting a little deeper every time, a little deeper every time. And when your soil's nice and loosened up, then you can plant stuff like the daikon radish that will, if it's got there's low resistance to it going deep, it will go deep. But I think rye is something that you're going to want to make a go-to right off the bat. It looks really good. It covers the pasture so you don't have a lot of weed growth. This is a field that I seeded down, I'd say 6 weeks ago, and I seeded it down with rye. Again, I just used the whirligig, so I'll fill this with rye. A bag of rye around here cost me about $11, and it's 50 pounds. So to fill that up, I've got maybe 20 pounds at the most in there. So it's not costing me a lot to seed this field down. And if you look at this field, it's quite thick. It's really thick with rye. If I had to right now, I could turn the pigs in on this and they would take this down to nothing. But that would be a bad move, and it would be cutting me short on what this field is going to produce. This rye is about a foot tall, and there's no shoot on it. It has not bolted. It hasn't gone to a seed head, and it won't. That won't happen in the fall time, but that will happen in the spring. And when it does bolt, then the shafts and everything will come up. The roots will shoot down into the earth and start sucking up all the nutrients that these guys are putting out there for the plants to utilize. It's an important concept because with this many pigs on 10,000 square feet, if you don't pull some of that nutrient out of the soil, one way or another, you're going to have a stinky field, and you're going to have a field that's not going to want to grow things for you, right? So we have tested this before on these fields, different crops. Rye is one of the best, believe it or not. We'll get, if we harvest out a square foot of a rye field that's in full bloom when it's up this high, we'll pull between 5 and 10 pounds of usable forage out, and that's the tops and also the roots, because these pigs, remember, they're rooters. They're going to eat the roots and they're going to turn them into high quality pork and fat. For the next video to learn about your perimeter fencing, click the link up here, and remember, anyone can fence.